All right. So we got our guests on, former NFL quarterback that played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Shaun King, man. What's up, man? How's it going?
CG, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me. Let me first of all, before you guys jump in my messages and my comments, I'm at my cigar lounge in the closet because it's too loud outside and I got a meeting coming up. So I apologize for the background. I haven't gotten technically savvy enough to change my background yet, but I'll learn.
Oh man, no worries, man. But you know what? Since it's been once upon a time that you were that one quarterback in Tampa Bay that came as a third string, right?
Yeah, man. I started the year third behind Trent Dilfer and Eric Zier.
And then it just came into that unexpected, and you just took that team all the way to the conference championship with that one missed catch that should have been completed, right?
Yeah, it was the Bert Emanuel catch, and yeah, they know they owe us one for that. You go down in history because they changed the rule. It's the Bert Emanuel catch, it's the Tuck rule. Involving the Patriots and the Raiders, but them changing the rule don't make you feel any better because you still took the L on what you know was a bogus call. But I mean, it's neither here nor there. Shout out to my man Brock Purdy, man. Brock Purdy balling.
Yeah, speaking of this kid, it kind of brings similarity, right? The way he's balling out, right?
Yeah, it does. And like I said this, I've been on a couple different platforms in the Bay Area. Um, he's kind of just like me. Like we had never experienced failure at the NFL level, so there was no anxiety. Like you're still going off of that confidence you had coming out of college. I mean, my senior year of college, I threw 36 touchdowns, 6 picks, rushed for 600 yards, and 11 touchdowns, finished 10th in the Heisman from Tulane. So I was playing with that swag. Like Brock Purdy coming into his last year at Iowa State, I want to say he was first or second team preseason Big 12. He was a Heisman, on all the watch lists. So I mean, he's got that confidence, that swagger that comes with inexperience, and you can see him playing. He doesn't look, like there's anything apprehensive about him. Like he feels like he belongs because the last time he took a snap, he was the man. So he's still riding that wave just like I was.
Yeah, you had no pressure. You had confidence, dude. You came into this league with a perfect situation. But did you grow up in close to the Tampa area where you wanted to play for the Bucks or no?
Yeah, I'm from St. Petersburg. I'm actually the son of a Baptist minister, and this is before they had figured out how to monetize religion. So, so service wasn't till 11 a.m. We'd have Sunday school at 9:30, regular worship at 11. That might not get out to 2 o'clock sometimes. So every Sunday when the Bucks played on the road, I put my hand up and I walk out about 12:30 because all the home games were blacked out because that's when the NFL had the sellout rule. And if you didn't sell out a home game by Thursday of the week of the game, it was blacked out locally. So when they played on the road, I would sneak out of church and go watch them play. So for me, I was actually at my home in Tampa on draft night when I was when the 50th pick of the second round came around and the Bucks announced that they were selecting Shaun King. So it was euphoria in the King household. I mean, I'll never forget those days, man. I got chills when I heard the San Francisco crowd, chanting Brock's name because that's how it was for me. My first start was Monday Night Football. It was against the Minnesota Vikings. This was back in the NFC Central, CG, when it was
Yeah,
Tampa, Chicago,
I was a
Minnesota,
kid.
Detroit, Green Bay. Yeah, the black and blue division. And the entire stadium, majority of the stadium had on the Burger King crowns, in support of their young quarterback, Shaun King. So I would tell him enjoy it, take a bunch of pictures, man. Just keep going out there and doing this thing. He's surrounded by, a great group of guys that believe in him. Um, he has a selfless offensive coordinator, and that's why I think it has a really good chance to work because Kyle Shanahan, he just tries to get his best players the ball. He's not caught up in his system and having to do it this way. He'll manipulate it week to week, based on what he think, is best for his team. So, man, when you look at rosters, I mean, 49ers got a darn good one.
Yeah, with all the stacked rosters, it kind of gives the similarities of the 2002 Bucks, where they were very stacked. They've overcame adversity, But what was the difference when you played with Tony Dungy between John Gruden?
Well, their personalities are drastically different. The way they approach it, you know, I think Tony and listen, there are different ways to skin a cat, right? Both have won championships. So if you're a young coach that has Gruden's personality, just be you. If you're a young coach that has Dungy's personality, just be you. You know, Dungy was way more consistent. He did not get emotionally hijacked. You know, his deal was, hey guys, you have a job to do. Um, Whatever you need to do to get prepared for that, just make sure that you're prepared. You know, he was a selfless person. You know, it was all about team. It was all about family. You know, John came in. John's way more high strung. You know, he does get emotionally hijacked. Well, he's probably not probably. He's a naturally probably more selfish person than Tony. But I mean, we won a championship with him, so I mean, you can't say that that's not something that works. You know, it's just what path you decide to choose. So, I mean, Tony is an all-time great. You know, John had a lot of success. You know, you choose your path. You know, you walk it.
I mean, Gruden was just a good offensive minded coach. I mean, Dungy just was building that foundation for Tampa's defense, and that's what kept this defense very good. Like in 1999, that's when you led this team further, but this team had a good stacked defense. When you think about it, you had Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks, a lot of these key players like Rondé Barber was starting to come into his own, and a lot of these other guys, and you were just doing a really good job, just exactly how Brock Purdy's doing it, man. Just do your job, and you go further from there.
And the difference was we hadn't completely built our roster out in Tampa in '99. Uh, whereas when we already had the defense. I mean, we had three Hall of Famers: Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks, John Lynch. You mentioned Rondé Barber, who's a finalist. Simeon Rice came; he should be on the Hall of Fame ballot. But it wasn't until John got there that we really, really put a whole lot of resources on offense. We traded. I mean, we brought in Jeff Christie and Randall McDaniel from Seattle. Ricky Dudley at tight end. They went out and got Joe Jurevicius and Keenan McCardle. You know, brought in Thomas Jones and Michael Pittman. So, I mean, before then, Tampa was building it defensively because Tony's a defensive coach. And then when John got there, he was like, no, we want to keep the defense, but we got to add a whole bunch of stuff on offense now as well. So, listen, Brock's kind of getting his opportunity, when the team is set up like the Bucs championship team was. And Brad Johnson, was the starting quarterback for that. But, hey, man, I'm excited for Brock. I don't think he's even playing like a game manager right now. He's playing like a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I think the rule adjustments, CG, make it easier for a young player, to succeed. I mean, because the first snap of the Bucs 49ers game, that's a normal play when I played. I mean, the 49ers literally went from being second and 21 to gaining 15 yards, being first and 10 because of the roughing the passer call on Neal, who came with the nickel blitz on the first play of the game. So understanding the rule changes, the current environment, it's much easier now for a young player, to go out and have success than it used to be.
Oh yeah, it's a lot different with the protection and the way he's taking the pressure. Like when he's getting a lot of pressure hit, man, he's throwing the ball right on the money at times. It's like,
yeah, extremely accurate, and that comes from being comfortable with what's going on. So obviously, and here's one thing that helps him a lot because of Trey Lance's injury. Purdy has been the backup quarterback for multiple weeks. So he's had to prepare like he was going to play. So you can tell that he's taking that serious and, he understands the offense. He can communicate it. He definitely understands the pass protections. I thought the Bucs were overly aggressive early. They blitzed him outside of the first play of the game. He recognized the blitzes. He got the ball, to the right player and allowed that player to do the rest. And it's interesting because the way that the 49ers team is set up, when you hear people talk about how Brock Purdy played, I mean, people are astonished. They're like, man, I mean, he was phenomenal. And then you look at what he did statistically, and it was 180 yards passing. But that's the way the Niners are set up because they have the pieces and they're such a quality defense. You know, if you just get the ball to Kittles and Debo, and I hope Debo is healthy. I haven't looked at the injury report today. And McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk is, coming to his own. You don't have to throw for 300 plus, when you have that kind of, support system around you.
Yeah, the running game is pretty much a beneficial for him too because you got McCaffrey and a lot of other running backs we know how to use. And as far as what I'm hearing from Debo, it's either a high ankle sprain, so he avoided some serious injuries from what I'm looking at. So he'll either be ready for the playoffs. So that's a good sign. Maybe we use him when we need him in the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, Minnesota's 10-2. They were underdogs at Detroit and got their butt kicked. I mean, Dallas was life and death with a Texans team. So, I mean, the only legit team outside of you guys in the NFC, at least consistency-wise, is Philly. So, it's going to be an exciting playoffs. I'm pulling for Brock. I actually got me a Brock Purdy jersey on order, so I'm going to rock it, for one of
Oh
these
man,
games
so
coming
confirm
up.
you're a big fan then. Okay, so I got to confirm it, man. Shaun King is already rooting for this Brock Purdy. He's starting to be a fan of him because he reminds him of himself.
Well, I always root for the young players, man. It's such a gift and a curse. Like, it's a great thing for Brock because people that didn't know who Brock Purdy was, they know who he is now. And you're getting to play on the big stage. That's sort of like the same thing with me. The other side of that is you don't really get to develop because you're expected to be this efficient quarterback right from the beginning. And my word of caution to Purdy would be just like you have inherited all of this support. If you go out and stink it up 2 games in a row, I'm just telling you, it could go the other way real quick. So don't get complacent. Make sure you stay locked in. Prioritize attention to detail. And best advice I can give all young quarterbacks: listen, there's 2 different kind of jerseys on the field. Throw it to the guys that got the same jersey on as you.
Yeah, and like you said, it can churn pretty quickly the way he plays, but the way he's playing, he's not really messing it up. So it's pretty much a simple task. Like he doesn't have to throw 300 yards, like you said. He doesn't have to carry the team. As long as he's able to make these meaningful passes, as long as he's limited on what he does. But Shanahan seems to have more confidence by letting him throw the ball more.
Hey, you know what? I had said that, on one of the platforms I went on, Kyle Shanahan didn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, I believe the truth doesn't have emotions. CG is just the truth. And if they trusted Jimmy Garoppolo, they wouldn't have given up what they gave up to move up and select Trey Lance. If they trusted Jimmy Garoppolo, they wouldn't have told him he didn't have to come to training camp. They were going to try and trade him. That they were moving forward with Trey Lance. Jimmy's there because Trey got hurt.
Yep.
And when Kyle called the games, if you look at that stretch post, I think it was a Denver game when Jimmy took the safety, ran out the end zone.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the Chiefs game where he came back and threw that terrible interception early in the game, like from their own from the Chiefs 10-yard line. And you could see Shanahan was trying to protect Garoppolo. I had said I think he might have more confidence in Purdy because he doesn't have the history of failure with Purdy that he did with Garoppolo. He's seen Garoppolo melt down, in pressure situations time and time again. So at least in the short term, this could be a positive thing, not just up to Brock. Just keep driving the ship. You got a great situation. You got a high-powered engine. You got a big back seat, plenty of trunk space. I mean, that roster's loaded. Just keep the car in between the lines. And, I mean, who knows what could end up happening this year.
Yeah, I think you said it on 97 the game, 95-7 the game or something like that.
I think that was, yeah, I think that was it. And it's the truth, though. I mean, Brock Purdy attempted as many passes in his first game when he filled in when Garoppolo got hurt as Garoppolo attempted in 10 games as a starter. And only 4 of those games he attempted more than 30 passes. That was Jimmy. And Brock had 37 pass attempts last week against the Dolphins. So you saw at the beginning of this game, hell, I thought Aaron Rodgers had got traded to San Francisco. I mean, Cal came out,
right?
yeah, and Cal came out slinging it. Like, go look at the first 10 plays of the game. Like, I think 7 of them were throws. Like, so Kyle wasn't apprehensive. He believes in Brock. You can see Purdy feeding off that confidence. So I'm pulling for the young man, man. I hope he, keeps this going. I hope he makes him have to make a real tough decision this offseason.
Oh man, that's going to be one of the toughest offseason by far. If Brock Purdy continues to play the way he's playing, man, that's going to be like the great problem to have. That's what everybody's saying. Like, it's always good to have a great problem than to have a bad problem.
True. This is true. And he's opposite of Trey Lance. Because Trey Lance has a bigger arm, he's a bigger body, but he hadn't played a lot of quarterback. Like, so he's got a lot of reps that he has to get before he gets comfortable. Purdy's a kid, been playing quarterback his whole, like, he looks calm, collected. He's kind of got that Montana like demeanor, and that when everything is chaotic around him, he stays calm. So, if I was Trey, man, hey, I'm pulling for him, but don't do too much now, Brock.
It's all good, man. I know how you feel, man. But hey, man, I know you probably got some stuff to do, but I definitely appreciate your short time. But let me know if you got anything available. You're more than welcome to hop on in, bro. I like to see your takes on quarterbacks. It seems like you know what you're talking about and you've been there and done it. So what's the best advice for Brock Purdy in this situation that you would give him?
Stay off social media. Don't get caught up in the energy outside of your next task. And by that, I mean, don't start popping up on interviews everywhere. Just tell the people, listen, it takes every hour in the day for me to be prepared come Sunday. And just stay focused on making sure he knows the offense in and out. He understands the issues the opposing defense is going to present, and he's very comfortable with the answers that Kyle Shanahan has in mind for those issues. And listen, if this thing goes like him and his family hope, he'll have plenty of time this offseason to do all of the other stuff that comes with being a successful quarterback. But right now, stay in the moment, stay locked in, understand that the next game can be the game that makes you a third stringer for life. And the perfect example is the kid in Dallas. What's his name?
Cooper Rush?
Yeah, Cooper Rush. Remember that got hurt. Cooper came in, played a couple good games. Everybody was like, Cooper, Cooper, Cooper. And then all of a sudden, Cooper Rush didn't play well. And they were like, damn, when does Dak get back? So my advice to Purdy would be, hey, it can leave just as quick as it came. So stay locked in.
All right, man. Yeah, that's a good advice to take from somebody like of your caliber. But hey, man, thanks for being on the show. And for everybody else, this is the former NFL player Shaun King who appeared on the show. And we're going to end this. And for everybody else, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.